G'day. How are yous? What's going on? So, wanted to share a few more little insights. Just things that I've noticed, and quite interesting to realise, some of these things, and so I'm gonna share them with you guys, just for the purpose of new perspectives on things. So I want to talk about male and female relationships. There's a lot of it's, if you can understand how to crack that code, well, you pretty well can solve a lot of the problems of the world with that one. And it's more about understanding that dynamic. And there's certain types of dynamics, and from my perspective and my experience in my life, I've seen three types of people. So there's the there's the positive, negative, the yin, the yang. So there's the male, female, male, female. It doesn't matter the gender, but the energy of that person is going to be masculine, feminine, etc. And to understand those different energies and where we've sort of gone out of balance a little bit, we've sort of lost a bit of perspective in that department. And I want to explain how we've to understand is always to go back to when we were a kid, and I do that in pretty well all my videos. We go back to childhood and understanding some of the things that I want to talk about, like conflict. So what's conflict? A lot of people fear it. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like conflict," and what they think conflict is abuse. They think that's what conflict is. Conflict is emotional, physical abuse, and conflict's not. Conflict's healthy. And conflict is that every single person is an individual. Every single person has different ideas and perspectives on their personal experience in life and who they are as an individual. And so they're going to be opposing. They're going to have opposing views. And everybody has opposing views. You might like golf, and the person, your neighbour, might not like golf. At the end of the day, are you going to I suppose try and control him in a way that he likes golf because you like golf, and then you can both like golf together, and then there's no conflict? It's not what I suppose we're here for. We're here to expand. We're here to be expansive. We're here to grow. We're here to learn. We're here to build new shit. I'm supposed to go off in this direction and do these types of things. You're supposed to go off in another direction, and we cross paths, but you go off in your own direction. You create your own whatever the fuck it is you want to create, and I might not like that, you know, and that's okay. You know, I don't have to be part of that because that might not be what I suppose, want to experience in my life, but it's what you want to experience. So, you know, to understand that everybody has their own free will, they can go and do what they want to do. You know, they have their own path, they have their own, you know, let's just say soul, you know, and they have their own, not purpose, I suppose you could say, their own purpose. And we need new perspectives. We need new perspectives for growth, for expansion. You know, because if we're going to be using fucking fossil fuels and coal, you know, for the next 100 years, well, it's going to be probably not going to be sustained. You know, we these newer ideas and these newer types of people, these new breeds of people, these new expressive people, they're coming out with new ideas and to help us grow, you know, to help us expand and make life more enjoyable, you know. So things like this and you know, the fossil fuels thing is just an example. But understand that this comes from when I want to try and relate this to conflict is, you know, acceptance of each other, acceptance of each other, acceptance of what everybody wants to do as an individual and their own paths. You know, they might venture off in their own path, and you know, we might not agree with that. We might cling to those ideas that they shouldn't be going off and doing their own thing, and you know, and this does come from childhood. So this is like to understand. I'm gonna say there's like I said, there's three types of people, but there's two types of people that are what's the word? Common. And the two types of people are one person favors the yin, the other person favors the yang, right? The positive, the negative, dark, the light. So you favor one and you disown the other parts of yourself. So the parts of yourself that, you know, you were taught not to like or to hide or to be ashamed, you know, shame and all that shit, that bullshit, those types of things. And understanding that to be in this physical reality and to be at peace with right now is to accept both of those parts, accept both of those, you know, and to accept them, firstly we have to be aware of them. And I guess a lot of the issue is a lot of us aren't aware. We don't, you know, we're not aware of them. We've hidden them in our subconscious, in our mind. And like I've said in other videos, our mind is not just in our head. Our mind is around us, and it's a lot bigger than what you realise. We do have different parts of the mind. We have, you know, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And understanding, okay, so if one, say, person, they favour their positive emotions, right? So what they call negative emotions is sadness, you know, shame, grief, things like that. So if they were raised to hate those things, or they were taught not to be allowed to show those things because they were never acknowledged or accepted, or they were considered, they were treated badly if they did, to understand, they probably started to favour the positive. So, telling themselves like that they're fucking greatest thing ever, sort of thing, or they're, they can't acknowledge and release those negative feelings. So instead of doing that, they just create a personality over top, which will be what's considered positive. So it'll be the the belief that they're, I guess, above other people. They're better than other people. They have control over other people. They are more clever than other people. They are fucking, they should be worshipped. The fucking world revolves around them. Other people are less. They don't respect other people. They fucking secretly enjoy watching other people, squirm and stuff, and they enjoy that control. This is what they call positive, right? They have an addiction to positivity, which they've created, I guess, a story around positive emotions, which are false. So they have positive emotions, and they call them who they are. So they call them, that's their beliefs. And with those beliefs, well, if you're going to believe that you're superior than everybody else, so if you're a big person and there's a little person, well, you're more superior because you're bigger, or because you think your looks are more fucking, I don't know, better than other people's, or less than other people's, and understanding that you think you deserve more than other people, and they deserve less, because if they had what you had, well, how could you be superior? Someone's got to be superior here. Someone's got to be the boss of the show, in control of everything. And this is the personality. This is where it sort of gets twisted up. The personality is a constant cover up. So they constantly have to do things to feel superior. So it's going to be anything, basically. Absolutely fucking anything they'll do. And the thing about it is it's a secret, because because it's a secret, they think that they're the only ones that do this. They think that they're highly evolved, fucking beyond anybody else. They believe this shit. They think this shit, and this is the facade. This is the cover up for I suppose, what you would call the negative feelings that they've suppressed. They've denied. They're not allowed to, I suppose, feel the negative emotions, because they think they're bad, and they have an addiction to the positive emotions. So you can imagine someone who is addicted to positive emotions, what they're going to do. And they're, I suppose they underlying feelings towards themselves are denied. And to deny those feelings is to not learn empathy. Because if you don't, I suppose, experience some sort of shame, what's called shame, a little bit of shame it teaches us things, or sadness, and all these things, hatred, these things, it teaches us to feel these things, from a younger age I'm talking about, to be allowed to feel these things and taught what we can do with those types of emotions, because we can use those emotions for ourselves. We use those emotions. So anger, we can use that to be assertive and speak up for ourselves and stand strong. But instead, we're taught to hate with it. We're taught to attach a story to it because that person's making you feel like that. We've developed a victim mentality around hate, the feelings of anger, and we believe that that person over there is making us feel angry. So we need to fucking hate, which is to sit there and think things that, like things. Think about things and how much, we want a body. We want them to, they don't deserve this and they don't deserve that. Those types of things, and we all know what I'm talking about. It's just a example. So, and what we were, I guess, supposed to do with anger is is an emotion. It's an energy. We're supposed to use it to be assertive and be firm and protect ourselves. We were never taught that. We were taught the other, which is to complain and whinge and piss and moan about other people, jealousy, things like that. It's all hate. And to understand where this conflict thing ties into this is that it's born at the young age, and it's taught. It's not part of us. It's just we give it the power. Yeah, we give it the power because we are the power. We are the awareness. We are the soul, and we are much bigger than what we realise. Much more expansive and powerful, and than what we realise. And things like those patterns of hate. So we're using the anger, the trigger of anger, and then we tell ourselves a story about the anger. This is why it's there, and that's the bullshit. And unfortunately, a lot of people outwardly express anger in a physical way, which what I'm saying is like violence. And breaking shit and stuff's fun. It's a good way to get out anger, but when we're blaming other people for it, and we want to, I suppose we tell ourselves that we feel better if we do something about the anger, and that's the underlying problem in the first place. Is we don't need to do anything about it. It's just an emotion. We can express it. We express it. We don't have to actually try and suppress it and do something to maybe hurt other people, or to it's not something to fear. There's a lot of and that comes from a young age. It's anger. And I suppose it comes into growing up, and so your parent was angry and they smacked you, right? And I got it, and I think a lot of people did, and that just taught you that, I suppose, to feel anger is bad, is you're bad, so you've done something wrong, and you deserve to be hurt. So that's the start of it. Understand, and you have I suppose the other person who did that, and they believe with every part of themselves that you deserve that, you deserve to be hurt. And this isn't a shame thing either, because this is just to understand a little bit, that the superiority complex that I spoke about, the person that is addicted to the positivity denies their negativity, or what they call negativity, negative emotions. That's what they're going to do with them. They're going to suppress those negative emotions and hide them, and hide the fact that they experience the anger, and they can't they don't know what to do about it. So yeah, it's the start of a fear of conflict. So it's the start of a fear that they're going to get hurt. A fear of getting hurt. So the world becomes an unsafe place, and the person who's superior, who does the smacking or whatever, they feel justified because they're the victim, right? Because I suppose the kid triggered an emotion that they didn't know what to do with the emotion, so that's what they do. They lash out, and then they play the victim, so that you've done something wrong and you deserve it. And the kid believes that, right? So the kid starts to believe that they deserve to be hurt, and it becomes part of their personality. You deserve to be hurt. You deserve the abuse. You want more of the abuse. You want it. You crave it. It's an addiction. And so I suppose you behave in certain ways, so you get that attention. I understand why a fear of conflict, what is perceived as conflict, the person that fears conflict perceives conflict for as a story which is false. So conflict, like I've explained what conflict is a positive thing. It's two well, not even two people, but it can be two entities, it can be two bloody countries, it can be two whatever. So there's two things, and they have a conflicting energy, and one accepts the energy of they're not accepting each other's energy. So that's the issue, is they are not accepting each other. They're not accepting all the parts of each other, if that makes sense. So it goes into relationships, and understanding that fear of conflict is born from like I said, young age, where you've been physically hit, or emotionally hit. You've been what's the word? You haven't been, I suppose, physical and emotional abuse, basically. So anyway, from there, You believe that conflict's bad. So you think that when people yell, that means that they're going to hurt you, they're going to hit you, and you develop a subconscious fear that when someone yells or someone's angry or somebody's resentful towards you, that you're going to be hurt. So then you fear it. You fear you're going to get physically hurt or emotionally abused or etc. You sort of you fear it. So it's fake, and it might have been true as a child going through that. You physically were hit or emotionally were abused, and then you get to teenage times, when you start to venture out into the world, and you're you're looking for a girlfriend or a boyfriend or somebody to hang out with and stuff, and do the relationship thing, and you I guess that's the type of the person that you're gonna want, is the person that is gonna, I suppose you're gonna want somebody who believes they're more superior than you. So then they're going to be, so when they're angry, then you've got that part of your identity, which is you've done something wrong, or you need to be scared or afraid because and you're constantly in an anxiety state. And I understand why the other person is, I suppose, angry, is because it goes back into their childhood abuse, and they fear conflict as well. But what they believe conflict to be is different to what you believe conflict to be. So they may see conflict as, they might see a person being assertive and expressing their anger, right? So being assertive and expressing that they are angry, they feel anger, they're expressing their boundaries, and a person with who believes themselves to be more superior is going to be afraid of that, right? So they're gonna be trying to control that situation. You're going to be trying to control you. So they're going to, if you get angry, they're going to treat you like that's a bad thing. They're going to behave in ways like, you've done something wrong, and you'll feel scared, and they won't care, and that's what they want. They don't want somebody who's going to be assertive. They don't want somebody around who's going to be, because from an assertive place is confidence, is from there you're becoming your own person, and to come up the chain of consciousness, so to speak. So you move away from shame, and you move away from guilt and all that shit, and you move into more healthier emotions, and they don't want that. They want to keep you down there, because if you're up there with them, how can they be more fucking superior? They want you there, and they understand that they see and they believe that by you expressing assertiveness and being confident and all these things, it's a threat to them. They fear it, because if they can't be on top, or at the top of the pedestal, well, then they can't be more superior. They can't be in control of everything. So they're going to do and manipulate and lie and bullshit and twist things and play with you like a fucking little toy. Little fucking toy. They think you're fucking pathetic. They do. They think they are superior in every way. And you do deserve to suffer. You do deserve to hurt. You do deserve to feel ashamed and scared and fucking these lower vibrations. And the sad part about it is you believe that too. You believe you've done something wrong. You believe you are pathetic. You believe you fucking are a joke. You do believe that you are fucking less than them. You know, you do believe that you need to you hope that they forgive you and all this shit, you know, and understand that, I mean, every situation's different. It's offering perspective. And they don't want you to know. So, I mean, they don't want you to know that they don't have empathy. They don't want you to know that they've never actually experienced those lower emotions, like the you know, like anger and things like this. They experience it differently. They experience anger as a they express anger in a different way. So they'll express it as ignoring you, as you know, hiding and control. You know, this is the way they express their anger. It's all learned. You know, they learned that from their parent. And they get off on it. They get off on the control that they think they have over you. And it's the unfortunate thing about the whole thing is by them believing that they're more superior, believing you deserve this and believing all this shit and treating you the way that they treat you, is you know, just from the perspective as, say, a relationship or a partnership, you're always going to have to be at the bottom. So, you know, like I said, they won't let you express yourself. They won't let you become assertive, because then that's conflict, right? That's scary to them. They can't have that. They won't let you have confidence. They'll tell you, oh, I want you to be more confident. Oh, I want you to be better. They want you to be fucking all these things. And, you know, you might say, I'm no good, and you might tell them these things, and they're like, no, you're great. You're this, you're that, and it's all lies. It's all bullshit. And you're seeking that validation from them all the time. Because if the day they don't say you're great, well, are you great? Well, that's full control, isn't it? You're looking for validation from somebody who can choose whether you know, you're going to be worth something today or worth nothing tomorrow, you know, and that's fucking toxic. That's control to them. They need to maintain that facade to be able to feel good about themselves, you know, and they believe you're pathetic. They believe you're all of these things, but in actuality, they are. They are. And what I'm saying is, when I say they are, they actually feel pathetic, but they use this facade to cover up those feelings. So they're scared all the time, you know, and they want you to be scared all the time, and they tell you otherwise. They tell you what you want to hear. They use all these little tactics to control. Nothing's off the table. Nothing. there's not one thing that they will do to let go of any of that control, superiority. They'll be trying, if you have the anger issues like jealousy or low self-worth and things like that, they'll be trying to trigger those things. They'll be wanting you to feel jealousy, or they'll be wanting you to feel hate. They'll be triggering that on purpose, and it's unfortunately the whole reason for this video, and I just want to explain that they do this to deny those negative feelings that they've never faced. They've never faced them because they think that if they feel them, they're always going to feel like that. And what they don't realize is if they actually experience and feel them, they can release them. They don't know that. So they live in a world where they are more superior. You're less, you're pathetic, again, you'll believe that. So understanding, it's not about what they do, because they're going to do whatever they do. It's more about understanding, what's going on with you. This is where your focus needs to go, back to you and how you feel. And understanding that if you're feeling a certain way and you're sharing this with somebody else, that it's a trigger. So when they you express your feelings, you have conversations, and they acknowledge and have empathy for those feelings. And to have empathy is not just to say, oh yeah, and there's not sympathy. It's difference. So sympathy is, oh, you poor thing, oh my god, that type of shit. Well, that's sympathy. Empathy is because the other person has experienced those those types of emotions, and they've learnt what to, I suppose, how to express them in a positive way, which is to talk about them and to to express them and to take action. So I suppose somebody who's empathetic is going to take action on those things, because if it hurts you, well, it's not their bloody responsibility. But if you're in a partnership, well, and there's lack of empathy, it's just a never-ending cycle, I suppose. The other person is going to say what you think they want you to hear, and you're going to believe them because I suppose you don't know what to do with those emotions yourself. So it's like a never-ending cycle. Yeah. So basically, they want to hold you back. They want to keep you down. They don't want you to be assertive. They don't want you to be confident. They don't want you secretly. This is secretly, this stuff. It's a big secret that they feel and believe these things towards you. They feel hate towards you, but they don't want you to know it. They feel that you're pathetic, but they don't want you to know it. They feel that you're, a joke. They feel that you're fucking less than them. You're these things. They feel it, but they don't. I suppose they don't consciously realise that they believe this stuff about you, because if they did, they'd have empathy, and they'd put into practice an action. They'd take a little bit of responsibility, because part of a relationship is responsibility of yourself is the main priority, and part of having responsibility of yourself is to be treated right. So you've got to understand that it's your responsibility to express how you want to be treated, and have those, and know how you want to be treated, know what you deserve, and express that to somebody else, and they put it into action. Or, there's a compromise. You have conversations about things, and like I said, everybody has different ideas and perspectives, and it's not always going to agree. It's not always going to. It's not always going to, be completely the way you want it or whatever. But it's always going to be the way it's supposed to be, the way it is. It's always going to be the way it is. So whatever the outcome is, at least there was that conversation. So you're sharing your emotions with somebody else, and they're being empathetic towards how you feel. They can understand how you feel, and they can have empathy. They can put into action an expression of their genuinely care. They'll show, and it's one of those things that to have to, to be stuck in those fear states of shame and guilt and hate and things like this, unfortunately, is somebody who's believes they're more superior and wants to control is going to want you there and want to keep you there, and they're going to be doing things to make you feel like shit, basically. And like I said, you believe you deserve it. You believe you deserve it. The abuse, the way that they treat you, the way that they are treating you, you believe you deserve that. And you believe you can't speak up about it because you're a bad person if you speak up and use your assertiveness and stand up for yourself, stand firm on things. And it's all one-sided. Understand. This is all your life, your fucking life, is to serve them. Your life is to bow down to them, and this is all subliminal. So a lot of, when you realise this shit, and you realise you've been in some sort of situation like this, it's scary, because you realise that how much a person can, basically lie to themselves, and you believe it. It's a big twisted up web. Anyway, what the person who's being superior and controlling doesn't realise, that if they were to let you be yourself and express yourself, and it might make them feel uncomfortable. It might make them feel scared of the conflict because you're going to be assertive and speak your mind. They might fucking leave. Somebody who's not ready to understand and let go of those more superior, controlling parts of the ego will probably leave. They'll probably leave and they'll go and do it to someone else. And when they leave, I suppose, is when you're gonna, I guess, experience those things that you've been resisting and denying. And to experience those things, which could possibly be, being by yourself and, being alone and feeling that loneliness and not and having to take control, having to not rely on somebody else to control you. So you're going to take control of your own life. You're taking control of your own situation. You're being assertive. You're allowing yourself to express different emotions and all those parts of yourself that you weren't allowed to express, and you release yourself from all that shit. You release all the ideas that those emotions, what you call a negative emotion, is bad. You release those ideas and you allow yourself to feel that emotion, or positive emotion. Positive emotions is the other side of the coin. Some people, like I said, they're addicted to the positive ones. Some people are addicted to the fucking negative ones, right? So they're the ones that are going to believe, they're the ones that are going to want to be controlled. They're addicted to feeling fucking out of control and worthless and these things. That's their personality. They believe they deserve to be hurt. They believe they deserve shit treatment. They want somebody to cheat on them and all these things, and they want people to cross their boundaries. They want it. They crave it. Because if that wasn't there and that's all they knew, well, who are they then? So then there's the feelings of being lost, those types of feelings, and all these other things. And it all comes back into, like I said, it's all fear of conflict. So the person who's going to, it's understanding the definition of conflict is what they fear, the definition of it, not the actual truth of it. And so the other person is is going to be fearful to show the positive side of themselves, because I suppose being around somebody that wants to control, manipulate, and act superior and all these things, well, the other person's positive emotions are going to make that person feel inferior, so they can't have that. So they don't want you to show positive emotions. They don't want you to show confidence and assertiveness and things. They'll be doing things to try and keep you down, right? So with that person, say, like I said, for instance, they leave, not in your life anymore, you're there, and you've got to look at all of those feelings that come up when somebody leaves, the grief and the anger and all the things that come up, the stages of grief, and to release those emotions and not and I suppose allow and realize to yourself that it's actually healthy to express positive emotions as well. And positive emotions, they make up make up the parts of us that we've been denying. Like I said, we favour one side and we deny the other side, which causes fucking resistance and pain and suffering. And the stories around both of those emotions are the lies. I mean, they're the bullshit. Like I said, not allowed to feel positive. This is the story you'll tell yourself, you know, and it'll be subconscious, so you might not hear the thoughts. It'll be an emotion towards, it'll be resistance towards feeling nice, happy, laughter and things, you know, and good, positive emotions. There's a resistance there, and a subconscious resistance. And understanding that the whole thing is the person that the superior person and the inferior person. Well, both of them are lies. They're just beliefs. They're only beliefs. They're patterns of thoughts and emotions. That's fucking it. They're not who you fucking are. To know who you are is beyond the mind, like I say. It's beyond the mind. It's expansive. It's fucking consciousness. It's outside of the body. It's inside of the body. It's you know, it's what's called the soul and things. You know, there's different names for it. And understanding, like I said, the person who believes they're more superior are going to need to be in control and superior and all this shit, and they're not gonna. If you become assertive and you know, a lot more confident, etc., they're not going to want to be around you, sort of thing. They're not going to want to be around you. So they'll go to the next person who's, you know, believes that they're pathetic and believes that they're fucking less than everybody else and is a people pleaser and is, you know, these patterns. I'm not going to say they are that, because they're just patterns, the people pleasing patterns. So I don't want you. I'm not trying to judge these people, because these patterns, I used to have these patterns, you know, in my experience as well. The constant search for validation from another person, and you constantly want them to tell you that you're good and all this shit. Anyway, you constantly, you know, those clinging patterns, clinging stuff, where you're clinging to ideas of yourself. They're clinging to ideas of themselves, which is actually hurting them. And they'll go and they'll do the same thing to the next person, and the next person, and the next person, and the next person, you know, and get the same result. Because if they aren't willing to let go of all those patterns, and it's not, I suppose they're going to have a person who is constantly going to need, like I said, need that validation, and even them themselves will restrict themselves by believing the shit, as well as the person they're trying to control. They're restricting because they're spending all their time and energy fucking focused on what they believe about themselves, instead of just letting that other person be themselves. You know, if the pain comes up, face the pain together. Talk about the pain. Have empathy towards each other. You know, not all the manipulative tactics, you know, which they do, and the lies and the games and all the shit. like I said, that person leaves, does that thing, and the other person that they've left is usually the one that blames themselves. So they're the one that they're a piece of shit, right? So they're lower. They're lower than that person that's left. They're nothing. They're fucking less. They're unworthy of that person. They're gonna fucking beat up on themselves basically. That's just the patterns. The patterns are going to the patterns, and to feel positivity is foreign. So they'll resist positive things because they don't fucking deserve them. They don't deserve to have positive people around because it'll hurt. And it's just the avoidance of the pain. And like I said, to go into the pain, accept the pain, surrender to the pain that comes up in whatever moment it is, if it's pain or it's not, whatever's there, you accept it and you move through it. Don't blame other people for it, because like I said, they're off, they're doing their thing, and you're here and you're doing your thing. It's your responsibility to break free of these patterns. Your responsibility, not them. They go and do their thing. That's their life. Like I said, they're off on another path. Your path is where you are. Your path may be to overcome this shit. To free yourself out of that dynamic, and move out of those patterns. Move into a more, acceptance of positive emotions. Allow yourself and realize that you deserve better. You did nothing wrong. That's the thing. You did nothing wrong. And these are the things that they want you to believe. And to understand that, like I said, the destruction of the other person will be jumping from person to person to person. And you might be just alone. You might believe that you deserve to be alone. You deserve to, just because you're they might have told you that they've hurt you, and you don't want to hurt anyone else. You have empathy, and it fucking hurts to know what it hurts. It hurts to be blamed for someone else that's hurting. These types of things, and realize that the responsibility for the pain that's there is yours, because the pain is there, and that other person is not responsible for it. It's up to you to release yourself from all those painful patterns and the stories around your emotions, and to understand that positive emotions are okay. All emotions are okay. All of them. We let them come up as they come up. We recognize the patterns of thought that are around attachment, that is around that particular emotion, and we look at it. We make no judgment, because it is as it is in that moment. It is as it is. And the story might be, oh, they're making me feel like this. Well, no, they're fucking not. This is the emotion that is happening inside you right now. And to acknowledge and accept that and relax. It's okay to feel that emotion, whether it be a positive emotion or a negative one. And like I said, there's three types of people. Like I said, the two I've explained. The third type of person is the person who's chosen to become one with all the parts of themselves. So they'll accept all the parts. They'll allow themselves, all the parts of themselves. They'll be wanting to become aware of all those parts. They'll be accepting and allowing and realizing that every emotion that comes up will be an emotional pattern. Not to attach a story about themselves to it. So it's just an emotion. We can release the emotion, or we can experience the emotion, and then we let it go. And that's it. The person who feels the emotional, I suppose, trigger, and takes a breath. And you realise that they're just patterns. That's all it is. They're patterns, and you'll know. You'll know if they're patterns, they're past patterns or they're future patterns. You know, past is worry, etc., and those things. Future is the fears and the anxieties and things. You know, they're the same fucking pattern. We just resist one, favour the other. It's about accepting and allowing all of those parts, letting go of the attachment of our self to any of it. We don't need to feel positive. We don't fucking need to feel fucking negative to know who we are. So whatever comes up is going to be the right situation for us and what we are needed, and what understand that's the stuff of the soul. That is the control. And there is nothing that we need to do but to be present with whatever's there. Present with whatever's in our experience. And like I said, if there's a person in front of you and they're triggering an emotion, well, there's the emotional pattern. You're present with that. You feel that emotion. And usually the judgment that surrounds that, which will be the thoughts, don't always have to get all your attention. Thoughts are usually the bullshit. So if the thoughts are judging that person in front of you, you know, or judging you for having this emotion, they're just patterns. And we don't have to give them our precious attention. And it's like whatever's in our life, in our experience, we don't have to. We choose where to put our attention. We choose it. This is the beauty of it. We choose. We're choosing to break out of these old paradigms and beliefs. So then we can choose to take, for lack of a better word, control of our minds and our bodies and our understanding that technology. Understanding the technology, you know, how we use our minds to create, and then how we use our body to take action on it. And then letting go of the expectation. We have preference over expectation. expectation is trying to control every fucking moment. We expect that this is going to happen, and it's fear. Expectations is fear. So we're constantly fearing whatever's going to happen. So it's just going to show up as much to say more fear, more experience of expecting and disappointment, expectations, and then more disappointment. They're the same pattern. Anyway, to understand some of those, just some of those control, superiority, and like I said, the other side, which is going to be wanting to be controlled, I believe that, which is, I am not capable, so I need to be controlled. And then there's going to be the superiority, I am more superior, and then the opposite, which is going to be the opposing energy, which is going to be I am less than you. So both of them, both of those beliefs are abuse. They're the same pattern. They're the opposite of accepting each other. They're opposing energies. They're they're the opposite of acceptance of ourselves. So it's much more easier and peaceful. Let it all go. Let it go. Let go of beliefs. We don't need them. Understand that we are that attention. We are that awareness. We are. We have this technology. We have this mind. We have this body, and we are the awareness. We are the soul. We are the attention, and we just have to retrain our attention back to this present moment. Retrain the attention to be mindful. Get out of our heads. Retrain our attention on what's going on around us. We're missing out. We're missing it. And there's another belief. Fear of missing out. It's a belief. Fear of missing out. You're not missing out on anything. You just have to be fucking present right now. You just have to choose to put your attention here. Find things. Find things that expand your presence. Find things that keep you fucking here. Whatever that is. There is no fucking right or wrong. There is no taboos or all of this shit. That's all beliefs. It's all other people. Like I said, your control is here now. Whatever's happening right now is your control. Is in your control. What you let go of is your control. We accept, we experience, and we let go. And we're grateful for what we've just experienced. And if it's a shit time, we bring acceptance to it. We bring fucking understanding to it, compassion to it, and each other. And it's okay then. just to be. Whether you're sitting there by yourself or other people around you, there's no difference. It's all being. And like I said, your soul's going to bring the right people. It's going to bring everything you ask. It's going to bring. You don't have to do shit. Just be present with what's there and realize what's those patterns. I said there's patterns when you're stuck in your mind or you're present. Presence is a way of being. It's not something you need to do. Well, I hope this helps some of you guys understand some of those patterns, and you realise where your control is. You realise just how powerful you are, and you have control of your own life and what you want to experience. Peace.